Hi, welcome to another art log. I'm working on a watercolor and tempera cowboy illustration, a new Lord of the Rings illustration with Egg Tempera, and a watercolor sketch in my sketchbook. As I mentioned in my previous video, I am starting a new alphabet illustration set based on the Red Dead Redemption game, which I will call the Cowboy or the Western game from now on, because it's just hard to pronounce the name with my accent. I feel like it takes me so long to say the name. So starting with A. A is for Arthur Morgan, who is one of the protagonists in the second game. I made the drawing on mixed media paper. I chose the blue colored paper because I knew I wanted a sky behind him, and I thought I could use the blue of the paper as part of the sky. I started painting with watercolor first, doing the cloud and the sky, and the rest of the colors too. Since the background is blue and his shirt is blue, I was planning on using the blue of the paper for part of his shirt as well. These watercolors are not amazing, but they are okay to establish the first colors. And after that I switched to Egg Tempera. I tried to mix the same colors to cover the parts that I couldn't with the watercolors. And I also used it for the darker values, of course. It's kind of a messy painting look, but it's okay because I like that painterly style. I try to focus as much as I can on defining the shapes using the shadows, and also using thinner brush strokes, like lines in certain places. I left some of the shade of the shirt with the blue of the paper. Overall, I liked the end result. I tried to use smaller brush strokes for detailing this time. And I made some of the blue sky colors spill over his hat, which is a look that I like. Maybe I could have worked more on the clouds, and I will keep that in mind for next time I want to paint similar clouds. I added the words A is for Arthur on digital, and I used the fonts of those kind of wanted posters since it's a Western game, and they are outlaws. I thought it would fit perfectly. This is another Lord of the Rings illustration for my set. Same as the cowboy one, they are alphabet-inspired illustration set, but Lord of the Rings theme. I am on the letter B, so B is for Bard, the bowman from the Hobbit movies and the book. I wanted to paint the scene where Lake Town is on fire, under attack by Smog the dragon, and Bard is getting ready with his bow. The scene takes place at night, and I went with the black paper to paint it. I was hesitating between the blue paper like the last illustration, or this one. I wanted to challenge myself, so I chose the black one. I don't have much experience painting on black paper. What I found the harder is that I couldn't draw too well the features of the face. I just hinted at the position of the eyes and nose. I did all by modeling the facial features with paint, if that makes sense. Usually I just draw the features as I want, and it's all guided by the drawing. but I managed to make it work. I was prepared to have a mess in my hands and have to start over on a lighter piece of paper. Even though the black paper is the night sky, I also added some dark blue behind Bard, just to have some variety in the night sky, and I think it helps keep the focus on his face. I am happy that I managed to make it work with the black paper, because the contrast with the reds and yellows of the fire makes it look striking. And sorry about my nails, they are gross. At the end, I added some small details with color pencils. I also added some more fire sparks in front of Bard. I think it came out looking really nice. And I added the text on digital. For this set, I drew the text in the Lord of the Rings font, of course. This is a sketch in my Alibabet sketchbook. Just some random night. I'm using them watercolors to paint him. Even though this sketchbook is not made for watercolor, I just want to practice with them. It's not a problem for me if it wrinkles the paper. And I kind of enjoy when you have a big filled sketchbook and some of the wavy paper just makes it look bigger. It's just nice to flip through those kinds of sketchbooks. So he's just sitting there. I was just practicing a sitting pose. I used colored pencils to add definition on the sketch, after I had already all the color and painting done with the watercolor. And here is the finished version. On the left page you can see some of the thumbnails and the thumbnail of this sketch. Sometimes it's easier to come up with the pose in a small version like this and then draw it bigger and add the details on. Thanks for watching and have a great day!